أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله. This is a podcast of Deen of the Old Woman, and I think it'd be nice to look at the first word that came from the heaven to the earth, where Allah communicated with humanity and what that word was and what effect it had on the creation. So many years ago, about 14th century, 1400 years ago, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, was extremely disturbed by the condition of his society. At that time, there was rampant evil, whether it was cheating, fighting, burying baby daughters alive, taking women as their property, and all kind of evil that you can imagine. The Prophet of Allah ﷺ used to isolate himself from these heinous crimes and reflect, ponder and think deeply to the most important question about life and how to solve the problems of this society. So he ﷺ used to go to a small cave in Mecca in Saudi Arabia, whereby he would take some food and go there for a few days to contemplate about life. What we can take away from this period in the Prophet's life is that when we have problems, when we see a lot of problems around us, we should also think, reflect deeply, isolate ourselves a little bit away from the social media and the distraction of this world, whether it's materialism, whether it's shopping, consumerism, whether it's friends, whether it's entertainment, whether it's games. Whatever we do, we should take some time out to detox our mind and our heart and our brain, so that we can deeply reflect on Allah's creation and try and find out the causes of the problem. A problem can't be solved unless we go to the cause of the problem. So when we reflect on the society and we see how there's so much crime, substance misuse, homeless people, and all these modern, everyday problems that we see, it's no use just walking by a homeless people and minding your own business. As a human being of conscience, we should be concerned with the evils of the society and try to play some part in trying to help out. I know one person can't change the world. However, I think that we must try, and even if we make a little difference, it's worth it. And if everybody starts to think, oh, let me make a little difference, we will make a difference in society. So it was during Ramadan that the angel Gabriel came to the Prophet in form of a man and said the very first word of the revelation, which was taken from the guarded tablet away above the seventh heaven to the lowest heaven and brought to our material world of space and time. The word was Iqra. This unique, wonderful word has many shades of meaning. And this one word can change civilizations. Basically, what the word means, it means Iqra, it means to read or to write or to understand or to contemplate or to think or to learn. But the main meaning of the word, the scholars tell us, is it means to read. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave that word to Gabriel, peace be on him, who brought it down to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he gave it to the Prophet. The Quran is written in Prophet's heart. And that's how the Quran should also affect us. It should be written in our hearts. We should have open hearts when we read the Quran so that it can affect us. So the word was Iqra, which has, as I said, which has many meanings. And it came to be, it was to be written in Prophet's heart. And this experiential of learning and feeling, in another word, it shows immediately how important the human heart is in receiving Allah's knowledge. And when the heart is pure, sinless, the Iman will enter. And the more the Iman, the faith, the belief, the certainty in the one true God enters, the better our deeds are. So it's a cyclic process. It's no good having faith and not acting upon it. And nor is it any good but doing well and not having faith. Both of these meaning, both of these actions have to be tallied. So the other word, the other meaning of Iqra is to read from writing or to convey. It's so important as a Muslim that when we see something harmful happening to other people or to animals or any harm, we should try, the Prophet, peace be on him, said we should try to rectify it. We should try to go over and try to stop it with our hands. And if we are too weak and we can't do that, then we should use our words and say, stop doing that. If we can't even do that, then we should dislike it in our heart. I remember many years ago, I was looking out the window and I saw two boys. One was walking ahead and one was behind him. And I think he was going to rob him or something like that. So he took a sharp instrument out, which might have been a knife, but I couldn't see very clear because I was looking at the window. And when I saw that, I screamed very loudly. So the person who was behind it, was going to attack him, quickly diverted his attention and ran away. This is just a small example how we can rectify the society and how we can change, even if it's a little bit. The Prophet told Gabriel, so when Jibreel alayhi salam came to the cave and said to the Prophet Iqra, the Prophet told Gabriel alayhi salam that I can't read. The angel squeezed the Prophet and repeated the same statement. It was the same statements were repeated 3 times. The scholar says the 3 squeeze that the Gabriel gave the Prophet was to instill Islam, Iman and Ihsan into the heart of the Prophet so that he can convey to his ummah, to his nation. After this experience, the Prophet was greatly disturbed and came running down to his wife Khadija and related the experience to her. She comforted him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and took sallallahu alaihi wasallam to her cousin Waraka, who confirmed that this incident was the arrival of an angel and that he was a prophet of God. So that's how the revelation began, with one word, Iqra. Iqra was the first commandment to come down to humanity, and the commandment was to read. Islam values knowledge very, very highly. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said that you have to learn from the cradle to the grave. And even if you have to go too far as China, you should go there to seek knowledge. The scholars tell us that the person who goes out and seeks knowledge, everything in creation prays for that person. Even fish in the sea pray for that person. providing the knowledge that they seek out is for benefiting themselves and to others. And that can only and only be found in a revelation of God, in the Quran. So when you go out and you go to seek knowledge, just remember that how Allah loves that action. And this process of reading underpins and underlies all civilizations. We are today where we are is because of reading, because of knowledge, because of writing, because of transferring the knowledge. And it all began with this word Iqra. After the Quran was revealed, the Muslim civilization was born, which paved the way for the Western industrialization and what we have today, the Western civilization. And I don't have time to go into it, but if you go and look in Google Muslim Spain, how Islam came there after 100 years, and how it influenced the whole society. And from there, the scholars of Europe used to come and learn and take that knowledge back with them, which laid the foundation of enlightenment. So the fact that we have a hot running water in our tap and we wake up every morning to wash ourselves, we should try to contemplate that this is direct result of read the word Iqra. Because of that, humans accumulated knowledge, the previous generation learned, and they preserved and saved that knowledge, and then the future generation came and took it on, and they evolved that knowledge, they made it more advancement, so much so that today we have this comfortable life. So even among us, we respect those who are literate, who can read and write among us, who are clever, who are intelligent. And intellect is mostly based with knowledge, and knowledge is based with reading, and reading comes from Iqra. So just imagine, from one word, the book was created, the Quran, and that enabled humanity to have a better quality of life. And the previous civilizations were built on it. What we have today is direct result of that word Iqra. So when we go on this journey, we have to do it with the name of Allah, which is we have to do everything with the name of Allah by reading Bismillah. We know that when we do something and we read that name, again read, learn. So when we learn that the word Bismillah should be said before any activity that we do, that activity is blessed and becomes a great benefit to us and to others. And the benefit grows and grows. So when we read Bismillah before we eat, the food that we intake will give us a good amount of energy, nutrition, so that we can do good work in our lives. It'll benefit us. It keeps the harm away from us. And this, we should practice that word, Bismillah, in everything that we do. Reading with the name of Allah means that whatever you're reading in acting upon will increase in many folds. And in Arabic, they call it barakah. It sees that you become so successful and you achieve so much by reading Bismillah. Basically, it just means that when you have taqwa of Allah, when we are God conscious, we try to do everything with the word Bismillah. So, reading the name of your Lord, reading the name of your Lord should be applicable in everything we do. And look how Allah introduces himself in that cave when the word Iqra came to the Prophet ﷺ, and then Allah said, he said that he introduced himself by saying, your Lord, to enable us to experience this close relationship right from the beginning. So Allah said, Iqra, read in the name of your Lord. Lord in English is quite a dry word, but in Arabic, Rabb is a word, powerful word. It's a unique word. It's a word full of meaning. But part of it means Rabb, somebody who nurtures. Stage by stage, they nurture us, that we evolve into good human beings. Allah's with us. He nurtures us in different aspects, psychologically, socially, physically, spiritually. He nurtures us. That's who he is. So he introduces himself saying, read in the name of your Lord, in the name of your Rabb. Immediately you can establish this loving relationship with this entity who nurtures and looks after you and always there for you and take care of you. It took care of you while you were in the womb of the mother, and it continues to take care of you in your old age. It's always taking care of you at time of death and even after death. So when it says Iqra, read in the name of your Lord, then the verse goes on to say who has created. This sentence is left open so that we can fit any aspect of creation, from the smallest particle to the biggest mountain. So Allah said, read in the name of your Lord who created. And that's left open. It's an open-ended sentence so that we can put any part of the creation there, whether it's the galaxy or whether it's a tiny, tiny little cell. The main reason for leaving this open is that so we can ponder over Allah's creation. And while we ponder, reflect, think, look at Allah's creation, they should lead us to believing in Him, acknowledging Him, recognizing Him, and eventually obeying Him. The more we will ponder on Allah's creation, the more we will fall in love with Allah. And wallahi, this is a challenge to all of the listeners. Try to go on this path. Try to go on this journey whereby you look at Allah's creation with wonder and awe. And you'll see how much you will fall in love with the creator of this creation. So we should always ponder and reflect. And subhanAllah, take example of a cup of water. And you think, how was this cup of water made? How was this created? And you realize the great ocean and the clouds and the wind and the rain have all worked together in a perfect order to produce this glass of water. And who has taught them this harmonious working together, this relationship, this teamwork that they have established in order to produce water? That's one true God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take another example of seed. Inside a seed is a whole program coded. Which tree it will turn into, the number of leaves, which the fruit which the tree will have, whether the fruit will be sour or would it be sweet, everything is encoded in a little seed. And subhanAllah, you pick up the seed, when you eat apple, look at the seed of the apple. There's so much information inside that encoded, how to direct its growth. Or take another example of grapes. You can't, subhanAllah, when you go and see a grapevine, you cannot just pull the bunch off. You have to twist its stem in anti-clockwise so that the wind cannot, pull the bunch off its vine. Because if it was just like that, then the grapes will just fall when there's a big gush of wind. But look how Allah has coded the seed of the grape, that when it's developed fully, how it should be, it would allow the human to remove its fun from its vine. The best example is the little ant who takes his food underground for winter. And then it splits the seed in half for storage so that seed does not grow under the earth, and that it still be stored so they can eat during winter times. Look, subhanAllah, who programmed the little ant? Who gave him that knowledge that you don't leave the seed whole, don't store the seed whole under the ground for winter, because it will grow, it will sprout and it will grow. So Allah has guided the little ant to cut the seed in half so that it won't grow. The list is endless. The more we ponder, the more we discover the magnificent and the sophistication and the precision and the perfection of this creation and of the universe. It all goes back to the word Iqra. Read, learn, understand, observe. May Allah give us the ability to live by that word Iqra and to learn. Thank you.